Hi there everyone, and welcome to this live session, where we will be talking about the latest and hottest thing that we just launched today, namely time-critical communication for 5G networks. What that means to you, please stay tuned. My name is Joachim Bildt, and we're coming to you live from the Ericsson Imagine Studio here in Stockholm, Sweden. This is our showroom where we turn dreams into reality. We're broadcasting live, as I said, over Ericsson's social media channels on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube. And of course, we want to engage with you, right? We want to have your views and your engagement into our session. So if you like what you hear, please share and bring a friend and a colleague in to listen to what we share with you. We also want you to ask us questions. So we will have a Q&A session in the end, but we also have an online panel of experts that will answer your questions during the session, but also stay for another 30 minutes after we are done here in the live broadcast. So welcome to everybody and thank you for joining. And welcome also to you, Marie.
Thanks, Joachim.
Great to have you here.
Nice to be here.
So together, Marie and I will talk about the new solutions to bring that are available, I should say, to 5G networks to bring that next level of use cases and use case innovations to both consumer and enterprises.
Yes, indeed. Time-critical communication, the next frontier for 5G. And with this launch we've announced today, we are starting this journey to deliver on that promise. But first, let's hear what our CEO, Börje, has to say on this topic.
Hello everyone. There is a strong 5G momentum with live public networks switched on across the world, of which today nearly 100 are powered by the Ericsson technology. We're also providing private 5G to enterprises in growing numbers. Now we're complementing our 5G offering with this launch to deliver on the promise of high reliability and consistent low latency. We call this time-critical communication. We are offering a 5G software solution that will help our customers see some business opportunities afforded by the latest technologies. Imagine being instantly and reliably connected to the people and the things that matters, when and where it matters the most.
Thank you, Börje. So to you watching, listening to Börje, thinking about time-critical communication, I want to ask you this. When do you see time is critical for connectivity? So please put that in the chat on your social media channel where you are. In the meantime, Marie, please, why now for time-critical communication?
So, Joachim, we heard Börje say that we've been rolling out these 5G networks now globally. And in those 5G networks today, we have services like mobile broadband, fixed wireless access, and they're primarily focused and optimized for high data throughput, and they actually work with best effort latency, in fact. But in Ericsson, we're always looking for the next thing, and we see that the emerging group of applications and use cases that are coming now are actually time critical in nature. And that means they demand a new type of connectivity, one that can deliver consistent low latency at a certain level of reliability. And we don't have those type of connections in the networks today in 4G or 5G. So with time critical communication, we are planning to change that.
Sounds great. So let's start then looking into the use cases, because I think that's really where the sort of the fantasy and sort of comes real in the end, right? Both for consumer as well as enterprises. So let's start with the consumer, and can you then explain what that means to consumers?
So we think that time-critical communication will bring a lot of benefits to the consumers. In particular, and actually initially, we will see the benefits in the entertainment industry first, we think, with enhancements to mobile cloud gaming, for example, and more immersive, realistic, augmented reality and virtual reality experiences.
That's great. So gaming, you say? I mean, I think many of us just love, including myself, I should say, these online games, either played at home or on the go. But one of the disadvantages is this lag, which just causes problems and slows things down. So, as an example, right, when playing, for example, multiplayer real-time games, lag would mean that you and I wouldn't see the same thing, and that's never good. So I wonder, for you out there watching, have you experienced lag when you are playing online games? And in addition, have you played mobile online games as well? So please put that in the chat.
So the good news for you, mobile gamer, and you mobile gamers out there as well, is that time-critical communication can help a lot with this lag challenge that you have. So it's focused on targeting delays and latency spikes in the mobile networks and reducing or maybe even eliminating those. But mobile gaming is not the only application, of course, for time-critical communication. We could also see something like AR, augmented reality. So you and I were sitting here in this real world.
Yep.
And then if I put on my AR glasses, I'm sort of superimposing some virtual features on top of the real world we see around us. And with consistent low latency, especially if it's delivered reliably, you can actually merge the reality and the virtual world very closely, so it's seamless. And my experience as an AR, gamer or user will be very, very realistic, even when I'm mobile.
Sounds fantastic. And in this next video, we will see Deutsche Telekom address these lag or latency spikes in cloud gaming experiences with enhanced 5G. So let's have a look.
So that's a pretty cool video. That L4S you saw used in the video is one of the many tools in the time-critical communication toolbox that can help to enhance and deliver a consistently good experience for mobile gamers, even when the wireless or mobile network around can vary in terms of latency. Maybe you have congestion or something like that.
It sounds like this we will benefit from a lot in the future. For you watching, thank you for your comments, first of all, and also thank you for your questions. Please take the opportunity to ask as many questions as you can, and we'll bring them into the session and also for the panel of experts online. Marie, now we've been talking about consumer angle, and I'm sure there are other use cases like enterprise or even industrial use cases also in need of this consistent low latency and high reliability. Could you please give us some examples?
Yeah, absolutely. So since 2017 in Ericsson, we have been working with the broader ecosystem to realize and to assess what time-critical communication can do for the industry and what it means, what we need to work on together with service providers like British Telecom and Telia, to name a few, and then some of the bigger industry players like ABB, Boliden, Rockwell, Hyperbat, just to name a few again. And maybe I should give a few examples so we can understand what I mean. So you could imagine a factory floor today cabled with wired connectivity, and if you can start to deliver a reliable, consistently low latency type of wireless connection, you can start to remove some of those cables and make that factory floor layout mobile and flexible. You could also think about taking workers in hazardous environments out of that environment and enable them to operate equipment and machinery from a remote location that may be perhaps much safer. And then back to our VR scenario, you can foresee also, and we've done some trials on this, enabling digital twins in factories or different industrial locations. So then you can have two engineering teams remotely located from each other, able to collaborate on a project in real time.
That's great.
And so one such company is ABB. They're a big player in the industrial robotics area. They work with heavy electrical equipment, automation and robotics, like I mentioned. And in this next video, we will see them starting to look at leveraging time-critical communication. And in the video, we will see ABB enabling a human to teach a robot how to perform a task. It's pretty cool. Let's have a look.
So in a European project called 5G Smart, ABB has been together with its partner Ericsson developing use cases on 5G empowered industrial robotics.
Yes, this use case combines very element concerning industrial robotics in like autonomous navigation and also autonomous grasping and lead-through teaching.
The ultimate objective of this use case development is to validate suitability of 5G for industrial robotics, where 5G is seen as a wide coverage area wireless-based infrastructure that offers communication with high reliability and consistent latency performances.
So a very good communication infrastructure is critical in these use cases, and especially bounded latency. And this is critical for the robot to move properly and in a safe way.
As you said, Marie, that was a cool video. Now we've seen examples of use cases from the consumer as well as the enterprise industry or so, and how this technology could be applied. Talking about the technology of time-critical communication, could you explain a little bit on how it works?
Yeah, sure. I mean, basically, time-critical communication targets 6 major causes of delay and interrupts in the mobile networks, and it works on reducing or eliminating those causes of delay. And the purpose is to deliver data reliably at a certain latency with a certain level of reliability. And it also works by scaling up the time-critical applications in the network. So we can use them in a wide area or in a local area and on any 5G band while coexisting with services that we already see in the network today, like, you know, your smartphone and mobile broadband services.
Thank you. If you want to know more about the technology behind time-critical communication, we have a whole episode and a blog around just this in our Tech Unveiled series. So go to techunveiled go to ericsson.com/techunveiled. That's the right URL. There you will find then this episode with Marie and our colleague Ali, who are both then going much deeper into the technology and the different aspects of that. So good to go there after this session, perhaps. In preparation for the Q&A to come really soon, please keep and take the opportunity to keep on posting great questions. I see that we have already a few of them coming in here, so awesome. Marie, before we go to the Q&A, would you like to summarize what we've been talking about so far?
I would. So, we've talked today about time-critical communication, which will enable and enhance experiences and use cases for consumers, industries, and society at large. We are focusing with this solution on delivering consistent low latency with high reliability, as opposed to something like mobile broadband, which works with best effort latency. And we're working to scale this up, allow it to be enabled in both local and wide areas, and also to be delivered on any 5G frequency band. And we firmly believe that time-critical communication will drive the next wave of 5G innovations.
Thank you. Let's go to the Q&A. Okay, are you ready?
I am ready.
Awesome. The first question comes from David from YouTube, and he's asking, what is the real difference between time-critical communication and URLLC? And what is URLLC?
Hi, David. So URLLC, Ultra Reliable Low Latency Communication, is an area of communication defined in one of the global mobile standards, 3GPP. And we take a number of features from that URLLC as defined by 3GPP and also include that in our time-critical communication. But our time-critical communication has also innovations from Ericsson to further optimize for performance and coexist with other services and optimize for the end-to-end chain. So time-critical communication has Ericsson innovations plus URLLC, you could say.
The next question comes from Anders from YouTube, and he's asking, what are the Ericsson uniqueness for this solution? Maybe partly answered already, but please give it a go.
Yeah, let me re-elaborate.
Yeah.
So, hi, Anders. Yes, part of the uniqueness is, as I mentioned in the previous question, we take the 3GPP part or the standardized part of reliable connectivity, and we also add some of our own innovations that maybe are not needed to be defined in 3GPP, since we're optimizing our RAN or our core network or transport network to enable an end-to-end solution for this time-critical communication.
Next question comes from Pedro over Facebook. And this is a question I also want the answers to. When will the time-critical communication capabilities be commercially available in networks around the globe?
Mm-hmm. So, Pedro, I am happy to say that we will start from the Ericsson side to roll out our first commercial features early in 2022. And then we expect service providers and who have the more advanced 5G networks to roll out services during 2022 as well. So, journey starting commercially in 2022.
Next question is coming here from Anna over LinkedIn. Will it be, I'm assuming time-critical communication here then, will it be supported in Open RAN deployments?
So at Ericsson we have purpose-built Ericsson radio system, and we have our Cloud RAN portfolio, and our plan is to support time-critical communication on both. And also, if I might mention maybe multi-vendor, since we have, as I said earlier, standardized features, that part will of course enable us to work multi-vendor. But if you have a single vendor, we can optimize for other things like time to market and integrated pre-tested solutions and other innovations we might have. So yes, would be the short answer.
David then asks from YouTube, what parts of the network are affected and how can it be deployed in today's 5G networks?
So, David, we see that every part in the network can actually contribute to an end-to-end high-performing solution here for time-critical communication. So there's a lot of things we can do in the radio access network. Our transport network colleagues will also have a part to play to help stabilize the latency and consistent low latency. And of course, there are quite a number of things our core network colleagues can do as well to deliver this time-critical communication end-to-end. And then we have a services component, so you need to assure the KPIs and the performance end-to-end and be able to monitor and optimize for that. So I would say quite a number of components can all contribute to a great end-to-end solution here.
And I believe there's another question to build on this coming in from Alexandra here from LinkedIn. Can Ericsson support multi-vendor and end-to-end solutions providing time-critical communication? So end-to-end, I would assume then RAN, transport and core at least, right?
Yeah, so with public networks, of course, the standardized part can work with multi-vendor. And we have some private 5G solutions as well that we would target the high-end and local area type of deployments. And there we package all of our core network, transport and RAN into the same product and deliver an optimized solution for that particular market area or market segment, if I should say correctly. Yeah.
It's good. Thank you. So then for the last question for this live session, and then obviously our panel of experts will continue online, from Andres over LinkedIn, what are the level of latencies you're referring to? and where the data will be processed, access, core network, or even data centers?
So the level of latency, there's no one answer to that question actually. So the level of latency will depend on what the application demands, and it will also depend on the type of deployment. If you're looking at a public wide area, you will not be able to deliver the same level of latency as you would with mobile edge compute and everything on-prem in a local area type of deployment. So you would expect the more stringent type of application demands would be located in a more localized setting. And then for wide area, you can get good latency and performance, but less extreme and scaled up for wider usage.
So Marie, thank you for all the great answers. And thank you to you out there for all the great questions. And this brings us to the end of this session, almost. It's been a pleasure to have you join us here today, Marie and myself. We hope, obviously, that you have learned a few things about time-critical communication, this new solution that Ericsson is bringing to the market. If you like what you have seen, or if you want to know more, I should say, go to ericsson.com and see and learn more about our launch today on time-critical communication for 5G networks. Please share it with a colleague and friend so they also can tag along and learn more. If you still have questions, if it's, we didn't really answer you what questions you might have, or the panel haven't got there yet, please post your question to us in the chat, and they will continue for another 30 minutes to answer as many questions as they can. Thank you all for watching this live broadcast from Ericsson headquarters here in Stockholm, Sweden. But before you go, I want to ask you to remember 3 things from this session. First of all, that time-critical communication will bring 5G user experiences and use cases and use case innovation to the next level. Second, Ericsson has the products and solutions to start this journey now. Last but not least, time is critical and the game starts now. Marie, game on.